Hi Sandra, welcome. You are the CEO of DiningSix, a Danish restaurant group with locations not only in Denmark but also in Norway and the UK.
Yes.
We like to start off every episode with an introduction of how you entered the hospitality industry. So maybe you can start off by explaining how DiningSix started, because it started in an interesting way.
Yeah, kind of did. Thank you for having me, first of all. Well, me and 5 of my friends were bartenders in various nightclubs in Aarhus. And we already spoken a lot about it. We someday got the chance to try this ourselves and in our own business. We would really love to do that. And we got the chance. I was hired as a manager of a cafe / bar / restaurant. I wasn't really sure what it was. And really short time after the opening, the owners asked me to take over completely. So me and my good friend Morten, we agreed upon that we could choose 2 people each to join us in this business. So I chose Kasper and Søren, and he chose Christian and Troels, and then we started. It was only supposed to be part-time job. We just wanted to try out how to manage a business. It really didn't matter to us that it was a restaurant business, but it was the only thing we really knew something about. We were all in school or having other part-time jobs. I was in law school, so it's supposed to be for a period of time and just be the best part-time job ever because it was our own business. But after 5 years of that, where we hadn't made any money, but we hadn't lost a significant account, it just ran its course. We had an opportunity to buy a place in Aarhus, a really iconic place called Sidebar in Skolegade in Aarhus. And then we came up with Kød, and it was just supposed to be another small adventure, but it became really, really popular. And for the first time in 5 years, we actually made money. So Morten moved to Copenhagen, we opened another one, and then maybe 7-8 years in, it started to dawn on all of us that this could possibly be something. This could actually be a career. And then from 2018, I think, we were all full-time employed in the company and considered it the life choice, the career choice that we made, all of us. So it's kind of a happy accident. It was never the plan, never. But we're really, really happy that it ended up that way.
But you still managed to have multiple locations while being part-time?
Yeah. So I started, after law school, I started in 2014. The same day we got the keys for the second location, I had my first day at the law office. So when that
known
was
for
over,
the flexible working hours.
So when the day was done, I ran down to the guys and changed into work clothes and started painting.
How many hours were those weeks for you?
I can't remember. 100, 120.
Yeah,
that didn't matter because it was my dream to become a lawyer. So that was perfect. And it was just my friends and I building a new restaurant. So that was also very fun. And you had no obligations. We were in our 20s. So it didn't matter. We could just go on like we wanted to. So it was long hours, but it was really, really, really great time.
Yeah, you just had a lot of fun while doing it.
Just had a lot of fun. It was just me and my friends building something together.
How old were you when you actually said yes together with Morten and the other people when you opened or took over the first place?
Well, it's 15 years ago, so I must have been 28 something, and they were maybe 25. No, because I was the only one who was old enough to have the liquor license. So I must have been 25.
What is the age for the liquor license here?
25. It
Okay,
was at
so
that
you need to
time.
have,
It was and I think the other guys were just below, and I was the only one who was old enough to have a liquor license. So yeah, I'm 3-4 years older than the other guys, and so yeah, I must have been about 28, and they were 24 maybe or something.
And when did it really start taking off?
Yeah, so Kød was our own brand. The other, I had made the first cafe together with the guys, but we didn't own the name. We didn't own the lease. We just subletted it from, in a lack of better words, from them. So Kød was the first we built ourselves from the bottom. And it was about in 2014, 2015 when we opened the first one in Copenhagen, and we saw that also turned a profit relatively quick. Then we started more of the guys started to quit their other part-time jobs and going full-time in this. And I was actually the only one left because I went to law school. This was always what I was supposed to do.
You didn't want to give up on that?
No. This was just my part-time job. But when the company expanded and when we were 2 cities, and I was cycling around collecting the money and doing the accounting in the evening and all the stuff I was in charge of, at some point in maybe 2017, 2018, it became apparent that I had to choose. So they took me to Budapest. We once a year we go away, and 2 weeks we're going to Barcelona.
Nice.
And I didn't know that the secret plan was for me. They had to have me quit my job.
The project convinced Sandra to come in full time.
Exactly.
How was it for you to make that decision?
Easier than I thought. Because I've always thought that if I had, it's hard to get in. I was in a top 10 law firm. I was a really good track, and I really loved my job, and was what I've planned for my whole life.
Yeah, you spent so many hours on working towards that goal,
yeah,
of
and it's
course.
not an easy job either. So, and I was finally where I was comfortable and respected by the older partners, and I was finally in a good place, and then I came and quit. But it was easier than I thought, because my train of thought was I can always jump back. So if this doesn't work out, I still have my degree, I still have my training, I can go back to that. But this other thing, that's happening now, and I can't jump into that in 5 years. So it was easier than I thought. It was hard to say goodbye to the company, but equally, it was exciting to start full time with the other guys.
So the ownership group, whenever you opened a new location, what was your approach for that? Did you always look for a restaurant manager to kind of take care of the daily operations there?
In the beginning, we could do it ourselves. We were very dependent on each other, but not as much on anybody else, because when Morten moved to Copenhagen and the 2 kød, they're still here now in Admiralgade and Vesterbrogade, he could manage those himself. But as soon as we created the second brand, Basso, then we started to point out the manager, or it was usually it's happening very organically, because usually somebody is a big star at a restaurant, and when you have the next one, when there's room for him or her to step up and take the next step. And when we built the administration and the whole organization about it around the restaurant, there were also these stars who had finished university or something in the meantime, who could step in and take over marketing or customer relations or IT. Or
so most of your key hires actually came from part-time employees like yourself?
We were 10 years in before we actually started looking outwards and for outside hires.
Yeah, at some point you cannot.
Of course, at some point
when you grow that fast, it's difficult to keep moving on from within, of course. How did you guys go about selecting the different concepts you did? Because now you have a nice range of different concepts. You mentioned you started out with curl.
Yeah.
In general, how did curl come about? Where did that need come from?
Well, we were very big fans of MASH, and whenever we could scatter enough money to go to MASH, we did that. But we always talked about, because we had the experience from Slav A with purchasing and wages and everything. We saw an opportunity to build a bridge between the really cheap steak concept and MASH's high concept. We thought there must be some space in between here, because we could see that we could manage a really high quality at a lower price if we could do it in our own way. And Morten actually came up with the name. 10-15 years ago, this umlaut business was really big. And now we're getting a little bit teased by it. But it was really modern and popular to spell.
I think it's a cool name, though. It's confusing for foreigners.
It's confusing in Norway, and it's really confusing in UK. It's called Kull in UK
as well.
Yeah,
I was also, when you guys opened up there, I was like, ambitious. You could have gone for meat.
Could have, but it shouldn't be easy.
When I came here, like, I would refer to it as kot.
Yeah, Kull.
Yeah.
And that's a fish. In English.
Yeah, exactly.
A white fish. So we actually have a dish on the menu that says cod, not cool.
Yes, smart.
Yeah. So so it's a lot of.
Is that for those who misunderstood the name?
Yeah, there's a lot of humor in our whole organization, and especially back in the day with Slabé, there was a lot of humor in naming all the drinks and the dishes, and it was silly, but because it was not the plan that this should be a serious professional business, so it's just friends.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like you just
joking
seem like
about,
friends having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
How has that been from the beginning to now, being close friends? Because I can imagine that it's fun in the beginning, but you will also face tough decisions.
Of course.
So
I think that the most important thing is that we always want the best for each other. But of course, it was much easier in the beginning. Also, when you don't make any money or lose any money, there's nothing to argue about.
Oh.
So in the periods where you make a lot of money, or the times where you lose a lot of money, like COVID, for example, that's where it gets heated, because when people starting to make families and other people are depending on you. Well, that can create some kind of conflict. But yeah, we still vacation together and together as much as we can. But of course, it has changed. It's more professional business now, and in the daily works, I am their boss, and that is not always easy. But we've practiced a lot in the last 15 years, so it's become easier now.
Are you able to talk about other things than DiningSix when you get together?
We rarely talk about DiningSix. Of course, we have meetings that are
so you are really
dedicated
able to split
that.
it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Great. Yeah,
I think that's
we
maybe
talk
also
about a whole range of things.
Yeah.
Usually, old stories from Sunny Beach is the main object.
But I think it's such an important thing, of course, because as you say, it's easy when things are going good.
Yeah.
It becomes difficult when things are going too good, perhaps, because when a lot of money gets involved, and the other way around.
Yeah,
if
not
it's going
just
bad.
the money, but what do you want to do with the money?
Exactly.
Where do you want to invest them? And maybe we're not agreeing on that totally all the time. But we've always shared everything equally. So no matter the position you had, no matter the responsibility, if you work like the old days in Slabé, you get the same amount of money. And we have the same share of the company. We're 20% each. So that has helped us a lot, not differentiating between owners and not making a hierarchy in salaries, or the CEO should make more money than...
No, you're all equal.
We're all equal, and that takes away, I think, 90% of the conflict.
I agree. I think that makes it so much easier because there's just transparency. Everyone knows what's up, and it just avoids conflict.
If one gets a new phone, everybody gets a new phone. It's like children, siblings.
It's like you open a bag of candy, so like M&Ms, and
we split it equally.
But I also want equal colors.
Exactly.
But...
It's very sibling-like relationship.
It's kind of silly, but I do think it's actually important.
I think it's really important, and we stick to that. Also, now we have a professional board, and they don't agree with us on this all the time. And for last 10 years, we had a professional board, and I can't count the times they talked to us and said, "You can't remain this good friends. It's not possible." And every time said,
"Watch
how
us.
How many years do we have to prove it?" My family members and their family members always say, "What happens if you have a fallout?" Well, it's been 15 years. I think we're good.
We're past
exactly.
It's also the first year that are the most dangerous ones, I would say.
I think the best thing for us was the first 5 years where everything was just mellow. And we didn't make any money, we didn't lose any money. So we had a lot of time to practice being partners before all of the big decisions were about to be made. So we have a really, really solid place to stand.
We went to it very slowly, basically.
Very slowly.
But it's very beneficial.
Yeah.
You just mentioned how you started the concept of Curl, then you started opening new locations, and it all went very well from straight away, basically, if we understand it correctly.
Yeah.
When did that next concept, I think you just mentioned Basso?
Basso was in
the next
2017,
one? And how did you go about that? Because you just mentioned, Curl, that was maybe a quite obvious decision.
Yeah.
When did you, first of all, realize, it's time to open a new concept?
Well, first of all, we've made enough money to throw into a new concept. And we had this idea that we didn't want to build a chain with just one brand. We at that time, we had the appetite to do more, and we wanted to see how far we could go with this.
Why didn't you want to do a chain?
We were afraid that if you only have one leg to stand on and that fails, and if already back then we talked a lot about beef and eating a lot of meat, and it wasn't good for the environment. And if that perception changed, and if there's a shift in the consumer demand, then maybe we'll be with 20 cool restaurants and had to start completely over. So we wanted to do a dynamic business build where we tried to incorporate more vegetables, more fish, more chicken in the menu, and also having it been easier to change with the seasons. So Christian, who is drawing and thinking all our concepts, talked about this social dining, which was a relatively new thing at that time, to make an evening experience instead for 500 krona, and still cost that today. 8 years later, we've managed to keep the same price, because it's so dynamic, and you don't have to. You can't change the steaks at Cool. You can change some sides, you can change some desserts, you can change some entrees, but you can't change the steaks. It has to be there and has to be top quality. So we wanted to have something that was a little more flexible. So we came up with Basso, and that was actually the only name that I came up with. That's mine.
What is it? Where did it come from?
It's named after an Italian cyclist called Ivan Basso.
Okay, and is there any?
Just a good name.
It's just a nice name. It's
just
good
sitting there watching Tour de France, be like, that guy.
I'm a big road cycling fan, so that was the only time I had something to say. I've tried all the other times, but I'm always downvoted.
If you open a new concept, we have to double check. Like, just put the name in ChatGPT to make sure. Is there any cyclist who has this name? What is the Danish guy, the one who won?
Vingegaard.
It's a tough name for a restaurant.
Good place for hot wings and stuff. Yeah.
I've tried, but they won't go for it.
I pitched it a few times.
They won't go for it. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
I think we have to apologize for that one.
So this is just the Italian social dining. I was pissed that they didn't want to do pizzas. That's a Christian. How can we have an Italian restaurant? We didn't make pizzas. But he was really eminent about this being a Nordic twist on the Italian kitchen, and it's been a great success. It's now in 2 cities in Norway as well, and also in Copenhagen. So he was right, and he's always right when it comes to that. I'm never right when it comes to concepts and names and everything. So we listen to him.
How do you go about when you go to Norway, for example? How do you decide what concept to open first when you have multiple concepts?
Well, both in Norway and UK, the 2 times we've done it, we started with Cool, because in Norway was 2019, so Basel was maybe 2 years old at that time, and it's more demanding of the kitchen and of the management. It's a more demanding concept to run than Cool is. So because our new partner Lasse, who joined us and moved to Norway, he would be easier for him to start with Cool. And when you start in a new country, the most important thing is to learn how to run a business in another country. So it's both how do you send in your accountants? How do you communicate with the government? How do you get picked up trash? How do you get the internet going? How do you pay the electric bill? How do you get a bank account? And all of these things are the most difficult things every time. So the concept had to be something that we were really sure about, that was really, really tight, and has been for many years. So that's why we started. And now we've brought both Basso and Kaiser also to Oslo.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. Do you always send like one of the partners to go there locally? Yeah. And you also establish the company within those countries, right? Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. So everything goes super local.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you need somebody to be there, because there was a lot of other things we wanted to do, but now everybody has kids and they can't move to Finland or Sweden or Germany or
Do you still have partners in those countries?
Yeah. Lasse still lives in Oslo, and we have now 7 restaurants in Oslo and Bergen, and he runs those. And when we started in UK, Morten moved there for 2 years, and now we have a local partner whose name is also Morten, which is kind of confusing.
Can't come up.
So there are new Morten and old Morten, and my partner Morten hates that. but he's also named Morten, and also a Danish guy who's been living in London for 25 years.
Okay.
You really need somebody to be, when you're so far away, they have to go on a plane to handle everything. Then you need a local partner with stakes in the game, with skin in the game.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. When you go into new countries, what do you do to to get the ground running basically quickly. So how do you market the restaurant? I know from London I saw some things back then actually, but love to hear it from you, what the approach is beforehand.
Well, it kind of starts with the selection. When we wanted to do that the first time, it was in 2000. Yeah, in 2018 we made the decision. We had maybe 5 or 6 restaurants in Denmark, and we wanted to try going into another country. So you just start with a blank piece of paper and start narrowing it down. We wanted to go somewhere where you can reach with a plane within an hour. So then you have a perimeter you can start with.
Narrows it down rather quickly.
It narrows it down quickly. Ruled out Germany because it's a very hard place to run a business, specifically with staff. It's really difficult. And pretty soon we agreed upon that it should be a Nordic country, and then just took Norway and Sweden and thought that I think we have a better chance in Norway, because they weren't as ahead in hospitality and their restaurants weren't at the same level as the Swedish were. So maybe we had a better chance of being a little more impressive in Norway than we could be in Sweden. And then the final is also, where are somebody willing to move? Like we talked about before we started. It could be the perfect market 12 hours away on a plane, but if nobody's willing to move there and raising a family there, then
and the time difference of working together in general,
it's
there's so many
really,
complexities.
Really complicated. But when we started in Norway, we started from scratch again, and that's the best thing about starting in a new country. We feel like these 25-year-olds starting all over again, because you have no idea who to call to get groceries or get staff, or how do you interview them? What are the terms to put in a contract? Reading a lease in Norwegian. Should we talk to a lawyer? Can I still do it myself? Or that you really feel like you're starting all over again. It's the most funny thing. And then we started in Norway. We started marketing like we did in Denmark. Social media, talking to the local press, just trying to establish a name and a place for us. We couldn't afford a place in the middle of Karl Johan Street, so we were kind of warned about this site we took, that it was a bit shady part of town, and it was an old Tommy Hilfiger showroom. So we totally remade it, but the lease was good. And now it's one of the most popular, trendy areas in Oslo. So we also got lucky with that, but because it was just
sometimes you have to be lucky.
We have to be a little bit lucky.
I went there last summer, and it didn't seem sketchy at all.
No. Now it's a completely different area.
Did you go to eat at Kull when you were in Oslo?
No, I just went by the street.
Okay.
There.
I was just checking in the typical Dane.
Yeah, that would be typical. I know that one.
Yeah. We'll do that.
But, you know, when you just stroll around Oslo, it's one of those streets you just end up going through quite often. Yeah. It's a good location.
It's a great location, but we warned about it in the beginning. Yeah. But that was also the reason we could afford it's a very big, it's about 700 square meters. So it's a big location. And it took off immediately. So that was also the reason we could keep going, and already the year after, or maybe 2 years after, we made the second one in Norway, and then came COVID.
Was that another Kull location you did in Norway as well?
No, it was Basso.
Oh, that was Basso then.
That was Basso. So the thought was we can develop the concepts in Denmark, and then we can bring it around. Exactly. So we don't get dependent on one concept. If the trends change, or if the preferences and the guests change, then you always have something to...
Yeah, the spreading risk.
Yeah, exactly. You always have something to offer. And you're not standing on one leg and just depending on this working forever.
So that is a bit of the game plan you guys have now. You start with a curl, and then you add another concept if the first curl performs well.
Exactly.
Is that the same you did in the UK as well?
No, in UK we actually made a second curl.
Okay.
Because it's such a big city that if you just move
it's just
3 kilometers,
Denmark,
right? Exactly. Then there's a whole new Copenhagen here.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have 2 curl in Copenhagen as well, because it's such a big city. But
and in the UK, you also worked with influencers, right?
Not by. It was also by accident.
Oh, really?
We were actually, We never approached any of them, but
you remember
we
the
made
guy we sometimes watched? He did that Sunday roast
Yeah.
video there, and
Yeah.
his whole face is covered in sauce. Like, ooh. But it's
actually the Sunday roast concept we have done in Denmark for forever.
Yeah.
It's just every Sunday you can have roast, and it's just unlimited beef and fries and sauce and salad.
That's
and it's
such a
always
nice
worked.
concept,
It's
yeah.
always worked perfectly. And we started with that in the UK as well. And we couldn't believe the hype it got.
yeah, but their Sunday roast is actually a thing.
Yeah, it's
Here it
really
isn't
a thing.
really, right?
And a Sunday roast isn't really a Sunday roast in the UK. It's a whole totally different thing with pies. And so ours wasn't the traditional Sunday roast. And these influencers started popping up. They had 10 million followers or viewers, I can't remember. And we were really excited because it was such a gift for us.
Because you also get all the tourists there.
Yeah,
like, who
exactly.
maybe
And
lost
was
day
really
in
making a
London.
name for ourselves. And we had wait lists for 6 months to come on Sundays. And then we started doing the math. So here's the funny thing.
Oh, enlighten us.
On average, a Danish or Norwegian guest eat about 250 grams of meat for the Sunday roast. In the UK, on average, they ate 850 grams of beef. So every time somebody came in the door, we lost money.
Oh my God.
And we couldn't.
And then that influencer with 10 million. So,
Exactly.
you know, I thought you were about to say
And
he
that's how he
made
ran
us so
bankrupt.
much money.
No,
the other way around. He almost
we
cost
lost
us
so
our
much money.
business. He almost made us go bankrupt.
And we talked to our GM, James, and said, what is going on? How come? And he says, well, that's just the way we're brought up. If something is free, it is free. That the next 100 grams is also free. If you already pay for it. We don't stop until
It hurts.
it's done, until it hurts. So we tried everything. We tried limiting it to an hour and a half. We tried to put chicken wings, more bread, tried to make them full of something. It didn't make any difference at all.
How do you do it today?
Today it's a plate. It's where it's already it's a serving, so it's not unlimited anymore.
Wise. So you just remove
Yeah.
the word unlimited.
Yeah, exactly.
And in Denmark you still do unlimited.
Yeah,
because
it's no
there
problem.
It's fine, yeah.
No problem in Denmark and always.
In
No
Denmark,
problem.
unlimited is less than the limited one.
So
in
now
the UK.
it's like this very big. Now it's called Sunday Feast. So it's this really big board with the beef and the.
But
the
did you see
fittings.
that even though you lost money on Sundays, did you see that you got more bookings on?
No, they never came the other days.
That sucks.
It was a destination all of a sudden. So they came in with trains 2 hours away to be there on Sundays. But that we couldn't transform that into a lunch on a Tuesday because it wasn't the same people.
No.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. We got a lot of the Instagram account for Kød has, I don't know, 60,000 followers, and everybody think we bought them somewhere, but we've
No,
never
but clearly
done that.
not. I think it makes a lot of sense why you have so many. It's so funny that they actually took a train from 2 hours away. They were just doing the math themselves. They were like, we are earning money.
Yeah,
It's
the more
cheaper to
beef I
take
eat,
a
the
train
cheaper.
to London than to go to the store and to buy steak myself.
Yeah, exactly.
They are smarter than they are.
So we had to completely change the approach we had in London. But live and learn.
You win some, you lose some. But indeed, it's a great lesson.
Yeah.
You just mentioned a bit about how you decide where you're going to expand.
Yeah.
You started with a simple explanation. Okay, we draw a circle. We have to be able to fly there. Someone has to be willing to go there. What other things do you look into?
Well, that was the first time. We've never done it before. When Morten started talking about that he really wanted to try to start another country and move there with his family, then we had the lessons from Norway, so we knew what we wanted to look at the next time. So, of course, it started with a personal thing. Where did Morten and Katrine want to live? And then starting to evaluate those cities. So we ended up with Barcelona, Amsterdam, and London, which were the possibilities. So we looked at, you have to remember that there's a lot of things that have to work in everyday life. So if you can't speak with the person who is delivering your goods, then it's a problem. And we found out that only, I thought, 27% of the people in Barcelona speak English.
Yeah.
That would be a problem because Morten doesn't speak Spanish. So we actually really quickly ruled that out. Although it could be amazing to have something in Barcelona, of course, they have an amazing restaurant scene. But if you can't communicate with the people who's coming to fix the chairs or remove the
And
garbage.
again, you mentioned the government and everything,
exactly.
the law, the rules.
Yeah, I've had few encounters with Spanish lawyers when I was a lawyer, some transnational contracts, and it's very difficult to communicate. So we were worried with Barcelona specific that it would be all the good intentions, all the motivation would go away because something will be very slowly approached because you needed maybe translation or local agents every time. So that left Amsterdam and London. Amsterdam, no problem. I think it was 95% speak English, so no problem there, no language barrier. Then we started to look at what kind of income and what percentage of wages are spent as a normal consumer in the restaurant business. So, and they were actually pretty equal, Amsterdam and London, but Amsterdam have a lot of protected spaces, and it's very hard to build something.
Yeah, you have the inner city is incredibly
exactly.
old, and you have a lot
very
of these,
protected,
yes.
and there's a lot of rules to what you can do. And we have a few restaurants in Copenhagen that also protect the spaces, and it's just very difficult to operate with. And then we spoke a lot with Sticks and Sushi, who are very present in London, because we were a bit scared that London would be too expensive. And they actually were really nice. We talked a lot with them over the years. It's just point out that it wasn't that difficult. It was actually maybe 20% more expensive, and that doesn't scare anybody away because so we ended up choosing London. Morten and Katrine wanted to be there. They have a very, very good restaurant scene and big tradition of eating out. And if it was possible for us to find a good location, then we were comfortable and confident that we could make something there. So now we built two, and it's actually true. It's maybe 20% more expensive than doing it in Denmark. Of course, some people spend very, very much money establishing a restaurant, but we didn't. We built it in the same style as in Denmark, and it's maybe cost 20% more, but not more than that. And the leases are fairly reasonable. You have to look for them. They're not on every street corner, and some of them are ridiculously priced, and we can never get near those. But we found, for now, 2 spaces that are very reasonable. So it just made sense. I think if you had the hardcore data, some areas would have been better than London, but it also have to be motivating for Morten to be there. And if we stuck him in Helsinki because we could see that was the base data, and he wasn't motivated, and he wasn't the best host when people walk through the door, and he wasn't engaged in the community, then it doesn't matter what the data says. So it has to be a combination.
If the person is motivated and excited to go there, they can bridge that 20%.
Exactly.
Or maybe even more than that.
Exactly.
It's also a nice example of how friendship plays into decision making here.
Yeah.
You do what's best for
Exactly.
Yeah, because
for the people,
it's better for everybody if everybody's happy.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of starting with the data, it's actually starting with the person's preferences, and from there you
and then we can combine it with the data to see, okay, you have these wishes and preferences. What is the best business decision from your preferences? And if it turned out that nothing could work, then perhaps we have broadened the search, but it wasn't necessary in this.
Looking at where you are now, what's your focus moving forward? Is that opening more locations in the UK and
we'd really love that, because there's so much possibility and so much opportunity. We haven't cracked the code 100% yet. Every arrow is moving in the right direction, but we haven't cracked it enough to say, okay, now we are gonna do 5 more. But Morten, the new partner who's joined us this summer, because
Morten
my Morten moved home and his kids are starting school. He wanted to have his children go in Danish public school, and it was never the point that he was living in London forever. So something had to happen. But with Morten coming home, and we having the new Morten as a partner there, we have a lot more experience, a lot more a local feeling about it. So yeah, it's really a dream to bring some of the other concepts over there, and we have the organization to do it. But we haven't cracked the code 100% yet. Okay. So we need to do that first and make sure, because we're all organically funded. It's just our own money, so we need to make sure that.
What would you say you still need to figure out, since you haven't really cracked it?
We haven't really cracked how to get a sustainable number of guests without offering. London is really big nowadays in discounts, and even the Michelin restaurants are offering very big discounts. So we need to establish a better base crowd.
Yeah.
We need to establish a more fluent flow of people. Now we're entering a period of time, November and December, where everything is filled. So it's a really good time. But come January, February, we need to be more sure that it holds up in just the normal months. And when we've cracked that, then we are very much prepared to go forward. Now we have 2. That's also a lot and kind of cool. So we're focused on that now.
Are you looking into any other countries as well?
Yeah, but it's the person. That's the most difficult thing. It's the person who wants to move. And now everybody has small kids and families and houses and lawns to cut. And it's just a whole different game now. But if one of my partners came and said, I'd really love to live 2-3 years in Sweden, I would love to try that, really. Sunset Boulevard is now moving into Sweden. I'm very curious to see how, because there's not a lot of Danish companies going to Sweden. So I'm really curious to see how that's going.
And they also have, it's a brave move, to be honest, because they have a lot of good burger chains there, I believe.
Yeah, they really, Sweden has an excellent...
in general, fast food and big chains, they are very good at that.
Yeah, and also really high-end gastronomy places. They're really, really good on the restaurants.
Yeah,
so it's
really nice to go to Stockholm.
And you need somebody to be there.
Yeah.
So it's not in the schedule for the next year, something like that. But at some point, we would love to... Sweden seems like the logical next move. But let's see. It really depends on the person. And that even though the company is so big now and you have 800 people working, and it still comes down to the person who can really drive it.
How do you maintain a good company culture with that many people now?
Well, the person who starts the whole thing kind of sets the tone. So when Morten moved to London, he brought 4 key employees from Denmark with him. They all lived in London for some of them up to 2 years, so they could bring the culture there. And something you have to adjust, because some things we do in Denmark, they just don't do the same way in UK. That it's much more hierarchy in the UK. So Morten was struggling with nobody wanted to drink a beer with him after service because he was the boss.
Yeah, but it's already different in the Netherlands, for example.
Yeah.
You will see it the further you, or like not the further you go down, because again it changes when you go to the south of Europe again. But it is very different. Yeah. And you will see that. I would say it's even the same already in Finland. You also have that. It's a bit more scary to maybe sit with the boss.
But once the employees in the UK figured out that Morten actually just wanted a beer, I guess they were positively surprised by...
Yeah. And and Morten is a very social person, and he's a very, very funny guy. And he's used to being able to win everybody over with his charm and his humor, and that was cut away from him there because they didn't want to engage with him, and that's where he scores all his points, and that's where he really brings in the culture. It's in the conversation and the dialogue and the actual friendship with the people working with him, and he wasn't able to do that in London. So it was a big cultural shock, if you can say it, that they didn't want to do that in the same way. I was there a couple of weeks ago, and we just had a big meeting with all the staff, and then just order some pizzas and have just a big stack of pizzas. And there were these guys sitting in the back and talking amongst themselves and coming up and asking, "Is it okay if we take some pizza as well?" I was like,
"It's for you."
Of course, if it's for you. And they were just stunned.
Yeah. And it's like,
and you can really, it can really become awkward when you just anticipate that they react the same way, because if you put 20 pizzas in front of a Danish staff, they just start eating and don't think twice about it. So the fact that you have to think about it and just telling them this is also for you is really weird. So you really need the local experience and the local touch.
You insist on the Danish way here, right? You're not trying to do the UK way.
No. We insist on the Danish way, and we know that the people working for us are very happy, and that they are not as used to everything being done by the books.
It's an advantage that you have there as well,
yeah,
right?
it is. Once they trust that you actually mean it, because it takes a lot of time, because they've heard these stories before.
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't happen in the first month. It takes a long time, and it takes waiter telling their friends, "Oh, it's actually true."
Yeah, and then it becomes a lot easier. I can imagine that the second location, it became way easier to get that Danish way in. How long did it take in general to get to that point in London?
Maybe a year.
Yeah,
maybe a year, because before they actually just relaxed and trusted us and didn't look for any way that we were scamming them or trying to take advantage of them or And it took some time, and especially because Morten couldn't break down the barrier with just his presence and his humor, because they moved away from him.
Yeah, exactly. They built the barrier.
Yeah, they built the barrier.
Did you notice a big advantage in recruitment afterwards as well? Once that was actually up and running, where you're like, oh, it became so much easier.
Yeah, because of course recruitment is easiest when the current staff refer people and tell their friends, oh, my roommate needs a job. Okay, come in. Let's do it. And as soon as they were comfortable, it became a lot easier.
Yeah, they will also adapt that culture way easier because their friend is saying, "Oh, they are actually nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you actually get pizza.
Pizza.
It's not just a promise.
No, we have to put that in the contracts. I've never thought that we would. It would be an advantage to give pizza. Yes, it became a lot easier. That we have a Danish guy now managing. His name is Asger. He's lived in London for 10 years, maybe. He's a musician as well.
So like every jingles.
Yeah, exactly. Days, so he's the front guy often in the advertising as well.
But you also seem to be offering your staff a career path.
Yes.
So is that something that you put a lot of thought into?
Yeah, it was. I think it's because I had to say goodbye to my original dream to do this, and it didn't seem like a sacrifice. I started to, we talked about the whole way through that if we want to do this, we want to do it right. It was very important for us that, of course, it's very important to me. I'm very, but when we put a lawyer in charge of a company like that, yes, some things are going to get more difficult, and some things are going to get more boring. But it was really important for us that the ethical compass was always in the right spot. So and that's not always an advantage. Just ask all the staff. There's some things that we're doing that's more difficult than maybe other places, but is like EU legislation. We take that very seriously, and then you can say, well, nobody's ever going to check that you're doing that. No, maybe not, but we are really keen to making this a professional place to work. And if we want to attract very ambitious and very talented people, then we need to provide the same base for them as they could have in competing offers. And in Denmark, it's like it's something you do as a part-time job while you're going somewhere else. And in London, it's while you're becoming an actor or a musician, then you can work at restaurants. It's more professionalized in London.
More expats as well, I guess, who are chasing their dream.
Exactly. And so we wanted to try and see if we could just treat it differently. When we started, everybody always said to us, if a head chef throws a pan at, it's just the way the business is. And we talked a lot about, well, we can just decide that it's something else here. We can't decide for the whole business, but it's not the end saying that we don't want to work with people who are throwing pans or yelling at the staff. And 15 years ago, that was pretty normal. They were brought up from head chefs who'd done it to them, and they just continued.
Yeah, but if that's how you grow up.
Yeah, it was nothing to do with them. It's just the way they were taught that this business. And always heard, oh, it's a really tough business, and
no one wanted
women
to
are always discriminated, and that's just the way it is. Well, it's just the way it is until you decide that it's something else. So, and in the beginning, it was much easier because you can just fire whatever you want and then just take the place yourself. It's more difficult now. So it was really important to build that culture from the beginning, and exactly also having the career paths for the people who really wanted to stay in the company but had finished their university graduation. So we have a lot of them working with us in the head office now. Who's been there 10 years. Started as dishwashers in Køll in 2014. One of the dishwashers from Køll in 2014 is now the boss of one of my partners. He's evolved beyond one of the partners taken his place
Wow.
as a manager.
reverse card right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also had one of your former employees at the same table a few
Kalle.
weeks ago,
Yeah.
and he is now co-owner of 3 different
Exactly.
restaurants, and
Exactly.
he indeed put some words about the culture you guys established as well. And I would love to ask you to give some practical examples about the culture. I believe you have this saying internally, but maybe you can tell some more about it.
Well, it's fucking nice. Be fucking nice. Be fucking nice to your colleagues and to the guests, of course. And it all started in Slabé with the opinion from our side that it shouldn't be a place where somebody is scared of the chef or somebody's scared of the boss or something. So the most important thing is that if we every day try to be as fucking nice as possible, then it's an easier day for everybody. And the thought was, if you're just in the kitchen being yelled at by a chef, and then you have to step out into the restaurant and have a good conversation or good interaction with the guest, it's almost impossible when you're in a bad mood from just 2 seconds ago. If you're greeted all around with your colleagues and from the bosses and from everybody with nice intentions and nice karma, then it's much easier to have a good day at work, and it's much easier for the guests to feel that you actually want to be there. It's just because you have to pay the rent. That's also a big thing, of course. People are getting paid, but that it's just in the long term, I think it's a very, very good business decision to have a very good culture. In the short run, it's better to just take it as much advantage as you can of everybody, but in the long run, there's a lot of money in treating people nicely, and it's the only thing that's never gonna come back and bite you in the ass. It's being nice to everybody, and it's contagious. They do it to the guests, they do it to each other, and they stay for much longer than the average staff member.
And they are the one who actually built the culture you want to have. In the end.
Yeah, and they're the ones that makes us want to keep going, because it's not fun for us either if it's a high conflict environment, or if there's always somebody you have to be on the lookout for, then it's not fun for us either. We're still doing this as for the same reason as we did when we started. We want to be professional. We're very ambitious, and we want to make a lot of money. And now we're in a place where we actually make a lot of money, but the key thing is always the friendship and the environment and the culture around it. It's the most important thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. And they also give you the means to indeed not just have fun, but also to chase the dreams, right?
Yeah,
you mentioned how important they are in terms of opening new locations, both in Denmark as well as other countries. I think you just mentioned when you went to the UK, Morten actually took 4 people with him to go there to set it up. Yeah. And the same here, you often promote them to managers and they go beyond, but they also still talk about you. I think that was so nice about the conversation we had with Kalle.
Oh, really?
He was very...
I can't wait to hear the
exactly.
episode.
When it went out today. Listen. No. But he had a lot of good words about it. And he also mentioned, of course, not everything was going well because it was new. There was a lot of issues. But he also mentioned a lot of practical things that they worked on internally and they got better at it. Yeah. And that's something you can take with you. And I think... Again, when you go to a new country, maybe it's more difficult again because the cultures are just difficult.
It was easier. When Kalle started, we were always working together, all of us. We were waiters together. We were in the kitchen together. So Kalle, I was just in his restaurant a couple of weeks ago, and we still hang out and see each other, because the people you actually build something with when you're there physically, of course you get really close.
He must be a little proud as well to see that, right?
Yeah, of course.
How has that been to transition more into having a headquarter and being more office driven?
It's really weird walking into the restaurants now and nobody knows who I am, and I don't know who anybody are. That's really weird.
And
nice
when I bring
I think it's for me personally. It's I've never been.
You can actually go and eat at your restaurants without being like, oh shit, this is the boss.
Exactly.
That must be super cool indeed.
I love that, really.
You can kind of be your own Michelin
But we're really different. We're really different in that way. I like I'm the more introvert of us, and I like it when I'm just out with the family. It's fine by me that nobody knows who I am. Whereas some of the other guys, of course, they are also more outgoing and more extrovert than me, so they naturally know more of them.
You should just buy them some T-shirts with like I founded DiningSix.
The original joke is that we are partners in a nightclub in Aarhus, and I can't get into it. They don't know who I am, and the guys love that every time. It's a long time since I tried, but if I'm not on the list, I can't go to the bouncer and say, "My name is Sandra. I'm the co-owner of this place." I tried a couple of times. And they just laugh. And,
they just say
so that's the original joke, that we have 20 restaurants and a nightclub that Sandra can't get into.
They just tell you you're the third Sandra that tried this today.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Yeah. Good story.
She's already
story.
inside.
Yeah. But it's really weird going from a place where we were with Kalle, where everybody knew each other, and it was like, it's a cliche, but like a family, to now it being a place where, of course, I don't know everybody, and perhaps they all know that there's a boss named Sandra, but maybe they haven't met me or seen me yet, or maybe they've just started. So more often than not, they don't recognize me, and I really like that. It's a really I like the privacy in that when you're out with the family in the evening. But sometimes last night I was dining at Feet with a couple of friends. It's funny banter with the waiter all night because I know him really well.
Such a nice restaurant. Is that the only restaurant you guys have that is more on its own?
Feet?
Yeah.
Because Jacob, who is the co-owner of that, has the majority of the shares. So he's kind of doing his own thing. It's a whole different thing with the YouTube, and he's
so
very
more
public.
in it as an investor, like
actually, we opened the restaurant Klokken in that space in 21. Perfect timing. And it didn't go well at all. And we've talked with Jacob. He had a small place out in Norway where we really loved coming. And an opportunity just arose to work together and giving him a much bigger space. But in every day, day-to-day, he runs the show. So it's the only one. It's kind of special. Feet is kind of special. We're very involved. We just had a partner meeting yesterday. But in the everyday life, he runs his own business there. He's doing an amazing job. It's a very, very, very good restaurant, and the numbers are excellent. We hear a lot of people talk highly
about him as well. I think we should get him on here.
Yeah. He's a very good storyteller as well.
We had a guest on Monday who also recommended us reaching out to him because they do a lot of content together. It's Anna's Big Chef. Is
yeah, of course. Yeah, they do a lot of content
so
together.
it's like, get him in there. And I also really like the restaurant. And we're slowly running out of time, but I do want to touch upon this bit as well. Christian just already mentioned, now you're working with a headquarters. Yeah. You're also working with a lot of different brands. How do you go about focusing on the different brands? Is there specific people who are responsible for the specific brands?
But also, optimizing it using the data internally.
That's a very, very key focus. And now we are 40 people in the headquarters, and they have their own specific responsibilities. So there's a product team that develops on average 1 new dish per day, every day, because there's now 6 brands.
That happens at the HQ, basically.
Yeah, we're building their big test kitchen for them right now, so they don't have to go to the restaurants.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're moving in a month. It's really, really cool. Can't wait. So they have, my partner Kasper is developing all the new dishes. So he has a team around him taking care of the data, making sure that we choose what the customers want and not what we want. Very, very.
So do you compare what's the most ordered items?
Yeah, exactly. They just pull out the data from the last 3 months. Say, okay, this dessert didn't perform. Trying to run the numbers to see what is it that doesn't perform. Is it too big? Is it too small? Is it too pricey? Is it just not in tone with the rest of the menu? They also handle everything from now. We're getting, just the fact that we get a couple of 100 invoices a day. Somebody has to check that. So we're developing a procurement system who can check these for us, because you have these big deals with big companies, and you have to check up on that all the time, that they are actually giving the agreed upon price all the time. But they're not specific brand managers, because the IT performance department, well, they run across all of the brands, but they only handle their responsibility in the data. The same thing with HR. HR is doesn't matter if a waiter is employed at Cinco or at Kaiser or at Kull. they have the same commitments and they have the same benefits. So they run across the brands, and they have to, because when we are adding a new brand in February. So if you have to employ a whole new team for a new brand, then it becomes very unflexible. So it needs to be across the brand. So it's the same cash registers, it's the same employment contract. So a lot of things are the same across the brands.
Yeah, what's this new brand? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, it's not decided yet. We had the opportunity to buy out Jensen's Buffhus in Aarhus, really iconic place.
The one next to the water?
No, up in Rosenkrantz-gade, next to the main street.
Yeah.
And it happened within 10 days. We've been looking for 2 years for new sites in Aarhus, and suddenly it was just there. And without a broker, we just talked to them directly. And they closed on the 30th of September, and we got the keys on the 1st of October. So it's ours now, but it makes no sense to open something just before Christmas. So we want to go ahead until February. I don't know specifically yet what it's going to be, but the main thing about this is that, considering our whole talk today and our whole history, we've had now 15 years really focusing on data and the business. And because we don't have rich parents or fund or investors, it's important for us to pay the bills and make money all the time. But now we're in a place where we can loosen up a bit. So we've decided that this new thing is going to be really fun, really chaotic, really back to the roots, like we would have done it if we were 25 again. Let's see if it works.
But it's going to be a completely new concept.
Completely new concept. Still a restaurant, of course, but a completely new concept that we want to try out.
It's also cool though that you reach the stage where you can start having some fun.
Yeah, and we need to get a little bit back to that, because now it's very professional, very serious all the time, and board meetings.
Yeah, it becomes a big company.
Yeah, and bank meetings and lawyers and everything. So for us, it was really important to get a little bit back to the fun, experimental side of us. And now we're in a place where we're a good place now, but the 2-3 years after Corona, everything was about paying back all of the debt we got from COVID. And we did that in May last year. We were finally debt-free after COVID. Nice. Yeah, we owed 40 million Danish kroner after COVID.
I was just about to say, how bad was it?
It was really, really bad. It was really, really bad. But we made it through, and everybody's still here, and everybody's still employed, and everything is good. And now we were liquid enough to pay all of that debt back. So now it's time to lift the chin a little bit again and see
above water again.
What was the original plan with it? It was to have a lot of fun and create a place that we really want to be ourselves. Not that we don't want to be in all the restaurants, we really do that, but something a bit different and a little more chaotic than what we've done in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, but I also get it that in the last 4 or 5 years
you had no choice.
You want to avoid chaos,
exactly.
Because that's all you had for that, like with all those unforeseen moments, also with the price rising and everything. Like
the inflation and the energy surge in 2022. So everything has just been in survival mode. But now we're on the other side. So now it's time to get back to. That's why we're going to Barcelona in a couple of weeks, all of us, just to write out ideas and how we're going to do this as great. Of course, it's a business, still a business. We can't afford to just start losing money all of a sudden. But how can we get as much of our energy and souls into this particular place? Just reinvent ourselves a little bit.
Maybe do something like you did in the very beginning.
Yes.
Something down that road.
Yes, I hope
We're
so.
onto something.
Yeah, I hope so.
Let's have another chat about it at that time. See if we were right. Sandra, thank you so much for coming. It was a pleasure, and good luck.
Pleasure.
And enjoy Barcelona.
Thank you so much.